communicate to me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is good to know. Otherwise, honestly, I wasn't expecting that. It's always not what people expect that will always come their way, I understand. So, literally, at school, we were taught that communication is the transfer of information from one person to another. And I believe you have a different opinion to this, because to me personally, I would say communication is connection. So just a quick one. What is communication?
You just made mention of it. Communication is connection. But beyond connection, I will say that communication does not happen on your terms. Communication happens on the terms of the listener. Because the listener decides to decipher the information that you're sending to them in their own way, according to their own emotion, according to their own intellect, and that means that they decide what to understand from whatever information you give them.
If I got you well, you said communication will determine according to what the listener understands. Yeah. Somebody said that when the communication is broken, it is no longer communication. How true is that statement?
I would agree with that. If communication is broken, whatever you're doing is maybe just passing some sort of information and all that, but you're not communicating. Because if you're communicating to me, I must understand what you're saying. I must interpret your emotions the way you want them interpreted.
Just a quick one. You had made mention that it depends on how the person you are communicating to understands you. Yeah. So does it mean if they understand you like in a wrong way, or if they don't get it right, like you have not communicated yet? Okay, I get that. So how long have you been in this career called effective communication? Because I know you're a communication person, and you've often done public speeches before, professional communication. Yeah. So how long have you been into this thing?
When I was school, I was doing IT before.
Okay.
And but from the time I graduated from IT, I was doing my IT alongside communication, and that has been happening over a decade now.
Over a decade.
Yes.
And IT also, there is a communication in IT.
Yes, yes.
There is ICT, which involves communication. Actually, there is a lot of professional communication while talking about IT. Yeah. Can you share with us a story of where you came from, probably the first time? Because I know someone is out there saying that I want to be a communicator, I want to communicate effectively, I want to be one person who gives a public speech perfectly. And they probably have the anxiety, let me call, the fear of standing in front of people, or starting to send a message, a professional message, even on their social media page. So how was your first time like?
I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
The first times are always not the best. They have a lot of challenges. But as time goes on, if you get to be intentional about it, you develop yourself, you put yourself under tutors and mentors, then you grow and become a better communicator every passing day.
Under tutors, under mentors,
yes.
That includes learning, right? As a basic thing.
A lot of it, daily learning.
Wow. And I believe no one is too big or too small to learn.
Yeah.
They say there's no age for school.
True.
So we always have to be learning. If you want to be an effective communicator, Mr. Moses is saying that you have to sit under the tutors, even, by the way, books. You can also read them to help you in that. Now, let's get even deeper into the crux of our conversation.
Sure.
What is that one thing that you need to grasp if you want to become an effective communicator?
I just made mention that the communication actually happens on the terms of your listener, on the terms of the people who are receiving the message. And for me, I think the most important part to grasp in a communication, if you want to become effective, is to learn how to master people, their emotions. Because if you're a communicator, you need to be very spontaneous. Things are always not the way you want them to be. Communications come with different atmospheres, so you need to be alert enough to understand your kind of audience that you're communicating with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, understanding the audience that you are working with. Now, can you at least go deeper into that? Because I'm sure somebody is wondering, how do I start understanding these people? Or even, most especially, if they are communicating to people they have never met before, or people whom they have met before and do not really have interaction with. How do I understand my audience?
First and foremost, you create a rhythm. Decide to create a rhythm intentionally. For example, if I'm to meet someone first time, I will first study them. I know what works for them.
Okay.
How are their emotions like? How do they handle people around them? By watching you, how you handle people around you, I can be able to talk to you in a way that fits in your kind of mind, in your kind of heart, because the heart also plays a big part while you're communicating. Your mind, your heart, how you listen, how you hear things.
Okay.
Yes.
They say, talking about emotions, they say positive emotions bring out better results, right? And you talked about also their heart, how you listen to their heart. But then, as you had made a mention before, first times are always not easy.
Yeah.
I would love you to give a word of encouragement to someone who doesn't, probably they have a low self-esteem towards themselves and they really want to come up, but then they put themselves down. Or let's say their heart is speaking negativity, or even probably the people around them are speaking negative things to them, but then we're all looking at bringing them up to become effective communicators. What would your words be to them?
A friend of mine a few days ago sent me a text on my phone.
Okay.
What someone had sent them and told them, I actually even don't know what I'm good at. My life is wasted. So I responded, no one has wasted life. Many people with low self-esteem think they cannot achieve whatever they desire to achieve. And that is only because of one reason. People, the society that we are raised in does not show us the value and importance of mentors and tutors, like I made mention earlier on. Wow. If we have mentors, if we have tutors, we can really be able to achieve anything that we desire to do in life. We can be able to communicate effectively. We can be able to achieve our goals in life. We can be able to pursue higher education. Because I will tell you, apart from money in our societies, the other reason why some people start school and end on the way is because they have not had people to tutor them. They have not had people to mentor them. People start journeys and they don't finish because they get discouraged. They only get discouraged because there's no one to keep on pushing them to be able to push them. Because a couple of years ago, I learned that man is actually limitless. You can achieve anything
I remember you
want to
telling
achieve.
me that one day.
Yes. I remember, I always tell people that I meet, if I really see you and you desire to achieve something, I'll tell you you're limitless. Nothing can limit you once you decide to do what you are doing, what you want to do. Yeah.
Well, I actually found out that personal development seems the most underrated skill that we have, and yet it brings out who you are. Like, it brings out what is in you that even you didn't know that you could do this. Looking at where people have reached, like somebody, if you're looking up to somebody, where they came from would be very far, and when they were still down there, they would have looked at themselves and said, I cannot reach up there. But they kept on learning. As you said, the limit can never be broken. Yeah. So we can learn and get to where we want to be. We will come back to that statement that you told me about, like positive emotions, like controlling your emotions and so on. Yeah. But then, just before we go there, how can I learn effectively? You talked about having tutors, you talked about having the teachers, and by the way, you can't say that you don't have the money to employ a tutor, because the smartphone, you can use it to learn. Even their books, someone says that if you want to hide something from a white, that hide it in a book, that they will never find it. But then we really want to get that opinion out from the minds of people, and we cannot get this out of the minds of people when we are not doing what is right. We are not reading the books and so on. I understand many people are mostly visual people, but then books are very, very important, and they enhance your learning very fast. So go get a book about effective communication, and we will get there. You will get there. Now, what is emotional intelligence or positive emotions, according to how you would frame it when it comes to this effective communication?
If you talk about emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence is one, leveraging your own emotions and understanding the other person's emotion. It's a two-way. Understand how the other person you're communicating to operates emotionally, and also master your own emotions for you to become a better communicator. Because if you know your own emotion, you will know what limits you can go to, and if you know the other person's emotional balances, okay, you'll know how far to go. I know there are people that you know, and there's certain things you can't tell to them because you're like, okay, when I go this way, they will not take it easy. But
okay, they may break down and will lose interest and all that.
That's it.
So, talking about that, how does it have impact on effective communication altogether?
If I master emotions, my own emotions and other people's emotions, every time I meet people, I tend to follow how their emotional patterns are, and with that I am able to talk to them at an appointed time. Let me use the word appointed. Okay. At an appointed time, because there's certain things you want to tell to people and you cannot tell it to them because the time is not ripe. There are certain things that you want to tell to people, but you cannot tell it to them because the emotions are not right. The emotions are not receptive at the moment. Instead, you will be repelled. Everything you say will be repelled.
It will be bounced out.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's an art some people have learned, by the way. Some people have learned the art of repelling information that comes to them because it's a way of guarding themselves also.
But I believe we have to help them. I believe they need help. Yeah,
they need help. I will tell you something.
Yeah, go on.
You're Christian, right?
Yes.
You've read a portion in the Bible that says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it comes the issues of life. Now, part of guarding your heart with all diligence is to master the art of repelling what you don't need in your life, which is also communicating. Not everything. That's why I told you earlier on, that communication is only effective on the terms of your listener.
Of the listener. Now, okay, let me bring this way. If it is on the terms of the listener, and the listener is always repelling it, as I said before, I believe they really need help, because you had said that there is no age. No one is too old. You can learn it, right? You can learn this effective communication. Now, have you ever come across such people? And if yes, have you tried to help them? If yes, how?
I think using the word always repelling information is a very strong word.
Okay.
It's a very strong statement, because no one is always repelling. People only repel based on how you handle them.
There is also a way of handling them gently and yet passing the same information, and they don't repel it.
Yes.
Okay.
And then some people actually will not understand if you're very gentle on them. They want people who are pushy. So you need to know who you're communicating to. If you're talking to a gentle person, bring that gentle emotional balance. If you're talking to someone who wants things to be pushed on them, find a way of pushing into them without offending them.
I remember one day in one of our trainings, this was brought up, and you say that there are people whom, if you, just as you have said, if you communicate to them very gently, they don't get it. And once you shout, they will say, yeah, this one is very serious. But then there is me. If you shout at me, I will just close it, like I will just die. And whatever you needed to come out will not come. There are people who need to be encouraged, who need to be also talked to, how they call it, you pamper them, right? You pamper them a little. And then there is, as I said, this person who is always coming up, and whenever you say something gently, they push it. Okay, let's just say they take it for granted. But then all these categories of people we are talking about, they can all learn this effective communication. That has taken us to where we talked about that controlling your emotions and also understanding the audience. So whoever you're going to communicate to, know that this person may or may not repel it, depending on how you are going to handle them. Well, we are already in the close of the, let's say, the first segment for the first hour. Let's get a short break, and then we get back to the question, still on emotional intelligence.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, a team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium, Channel 259 and Channel 246. Starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and limited passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short break. We continue with the conversation from where we had left. And the next question, actually, we're still talking about emotional intelligence. We have started unpacking it, but then he talked about understanding the audience, and the guest also, Mr. Moses, made a mention of learning. And the next question is about action, you know, bringing out positive emotions in someone. There are these kinds of people who have really, okay, sorry to say, but people have sometimes, others find their actions funny, all based on the dialects that they know. For example, Arua has a very large community, and if an Alur is speaking, a Madi can easily laugh. Is speaking English, a Madi can laugh. And the Kakwas also have that first language, first dialect problem, and even a Lubara. So in addressing a large community, how do you address this action problem? Do you believe that people should develop a particular accent while addressing others, or how do you deal with it? Because this can really get into the confidence of some people. So how can you help someone in dealing with that?
I met one of my coaches.
Okay.
He one time told me his story. Then he told me the day I realized I was not communicating to only the people of my community, I started developing myself for the international audiences.
Wow.
So it falls back to you, who is communicating. Are you building yourself for your local community? Are you building yourself for an international audience?
Obviously, in professionalism, there is one day you will reach international. Or even if you're communicating to the local people or the nationals, there are a wide range of people in the country. So that means we all have to work on that. And there are these people, by the way, in some of the communities, they also say like someone is proud when they're trying to work on their accent and so on. What would you say about that?
Well, I would say as long as you're developing yourself, let them talk. Develop yourself, put yourself under that pressure, grow yourself. Because it's only you